Hello and welcome to the 40th episode of Growing Up Geek, the weekly podcast for geek entertainment and nostalgia. My name is Brad and I am joined by my brother Rob.
Rocking it out.
40 episodes, man.
40 episodes.
Finally did
Wow.
it. Is that over the hill? I don't know. It's on the hill.
It's at the top of the hill is what it is.
Run to the hills. Very appropriate. Rock Band 2 is out.
Yeah.
We are playing it. And I actually have an interesting story. I didn't buy Rock Band with money. I bought it with games.
You bought Rock Band with games?
Yes. Oh, God. It's the commercial. But no, I went down to GameStop over the weekend, and I put down a pile of just PS2 and PS1 games, and I said, do you have Rock Band? They said, yes. I said, I would like to buy it with this. And they said, okay. While the guy was ringing me up, he said, you don't happen to have, Tomba in there, do you? And I was like, actually, I do. He sort of motioned for me to move away from the camera. And we went behind, kind of where the camera can't see him. He's like, oh, I'm so going to get fired for this. And he slips me, a crumpled $12 from his Nintendo wallet.
Wow.
And then I hand him Tomba, and we made an exchange. So that was kind of cool. I got to make somebody's day.
Wow.
But looked on eBay afterwards, and it's worth $50. So
You got suckered.
Yeah, but how you been doing, man?
Well, the big news for me is that I just got Fios installed.
Oh, dude, nice.
Yeah.
Fios, so you are cruising on, you're riding on the fiber optic wire now.
Exactly. I'm the bleeding edge of the internet. We got 20 megabyte per second download
Oh my
speed.
God, that just hurts. It hurts.
5
I just called
megabyte a second upload.
Oh no. I just called Comcast because my internet has actually been painfully slow. I told the guy, he's like, well, have you cleared your cookies and stuff? And I'm like, listen, I can't stream YouTube videos. Those are the poorest quality on the web. But 20 megabytes, dang, that is crazy. So, well, okay, nothing but love here.
Yeah.
So why don't we turn now to the world of geek news? We're going to talk about, as always, our favorite geek news stories of the week. My favorite news story this week actually was Burn After Reading. The new Coen Brothers film came out this week, and I saw it, so I'm going to give my 2 cents. Don't see this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that breaks my heart to say because I'm a huge fan of the Coen Brothers. This looked like a return back to that kind of Raising Arizona comedy. It isn't. To me, it fails as a comedy. It's not particularly funny, and if it's supposed to be a drama, it's not particularly interesting.
Wow.
As it ended, there was sort of silence in the audience.
The sound of empty wallets.
Yeah. It stars John Malkovich, George Clooney, Brad Pitt. Really good cast. And John Malkovich is a mid-level government employee whose personal information is found in a gym locker room by Brad Pitt's character. Brad Pitt believes he can blackmail Malkovich into maybe giving him some money. It's a big sort of misunderstanding, but there are better films about misunderstandings, and for an example, I would recommend Sylvester Stallone had a movie called Oscar.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. Rob, what was your favorite news story this week?
This is just something that I feel obligated to even bring up. Last week, the microchip turned 50.
Hey, all right.
Happy birthday.
I've used one of those.
Well, 50 years ago, Jack Kilby, an employee for Texas Instruments, demonstrated the first working microchip.
Oh, wow.
It was actually called an integrated circuit. He showed that all this stuff can be taken and housed on a single piece of semiconductor material.
Yeah, that to me is still a fantasy. Well, I don't know how microchips work at all. It's I know they do, but when you look at that chip, it's okay, it's calculating numbers using what? Metal?
Ones and zeros, and somehow that means something.
Right, and somehow that translates to graphics and guns and things, It's a mystery to me, but obviously Jim Kilby?
Jack Kilby.
Jack Kilby.
And it's a shame that we don't even remember his name, do we?
Yeah. 5 seconds after you mentioned it to me, I don't remember his name. We had Charles Babbage a while ago. Now Jack Kilby. Excuse me. Oh, gosh.
Jack Kilby.
No way to honor this man. Well, congratulations. Happy birthday to the microchip.
Yeah, and millions of years later, here we are surfing the internet across the world.
On Fios.
Yeah, with a sliver-thin computer on our lap.
Heating and burning our genitals. Well, my $300 laptop, maybe.
Exactly.
Not your powerful Macintosh.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't even need heat to run. It just gives off dreams.
There it is, your Apple Arrogance Minute of the week. And so, let's turn from that now to our main topic of discussion, which this week is all about Rock Band 2.
Woo!
This was a game that actually you were sort of on the fence about, and you're a big Rock Band fan, obviously.
No. Let me get this straight. Okay. I was not at all on the fence about getting Rock Band 2. What I was on the fence about was just getting the game, which is out now, or waiting a month and getting the game with the new drums and the new guitar.
Right.
I am such a Rock Band enthusiast that despite the fact that I already have the old hardware, I'm like, I want to play this thing on the best possible hardware ever.
Yeah, and the new drums look sick.
Yeah.
I'm suddenly going into rock mode. They look sick, man.
Have you suffered the pains of breaking one of those foot pedals?
No. Fortunately,
I have.
My foot is not that heavy. Oh, wow.
Twice over. I have broken...
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I broke my foot pedal, and then my roommate who had Rock Band, we used his foot pedal. That one broke. Mm-hmm. So we've bought a third-party foot pedal. And whenever I saw that the Rock Band 2 had a reinforced metal foot pedal, I'm like, that's what I need.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm just dealing with what I have. I was just too excited to start playing the new songs. And I figure I'm looking at Guitar Hero's hardware as well, even Rock Revolution's hardware, seeing what's going to be the best thing for me to put together to just make the ultimate rock out experience with this thing.
Yeah, and that's a harder sell domestically, obviously, being married and having all that. But, as a single person with an apartment, that should be awesome.
Don't get me wrong. My girlfriend has a set. And, so does my roommate's girlfriend. She rolls her eyes at him every time he gets excited about this traditional battle between geeks and girls.
Still going on after 50 years of microchips.
50 years of microchips.
But, yeah, so Rock Band 2, to me, really sort of depends on how much you're invested in these new songs. The upgrades, I would say, are minimal. They are nice. Don't get me wrong. They made some good improvements. But, it doesn't feel like a full sequel. What do you think of the game so far, of the song selection and everything?
Well, I mean, personally, I'm loving every minute of it. Yeah.
Awesome.
And what was there of Rock Band that was bad, always needing the same bass player to be around in your band or everything, they've done away with, they've refined it, they've made the touring system kind of work. I think it's cool, and along with the song lists, there's some really heavy hitters in here. I mean, I think everybody loves the fact that Guns N' Roses has their new song on here, and then you got...
I haven't had a chance to play that yet, but I did see that in there.
Today by the Smashing Pumpkins, when I saw that was on there, me and my roommate just kind of squealed with delight.
And there's a lot of... Amber and I are playing through this right now, and there's a lot of great songs in there that we both love, that we're like, oh, man. For her, it's Lazy Eye by Silver Sun Pickups. For me, it was Interpol.
Yeah.
However, I do have to say, I'm kind of 50-50 on the song list.
Oh, yeah?
If you go under the song modifier and you enter red, yellow, blue, red, red, blue, blue, red, yellow, blue.
Okay.
You have a modifier or a cheat that'll unlock all the songs. We use that. And I gotta say, when you get up to the highest tier of this game, it's pretty much all metal.
Okay.
Which are insanely hard. I mean, if you look, the rating goes from 1 to 5, and then it turns into devil heads if it's higher than that. And there's a Megadeth song in there that's literally all devil heads on every, guitar, vocals, bass. And I'm like, okay, that I'm not touching with a 10-foot pole.
Right.
What is it about metal and musicians?
Metal is usually just the most technically jarring music, just in terms of play speed, vocal height. Honestly, I don't think that necessarily makes it entertaining, and which is probably why you're kind of disappointed to see that it's all metal.
Right.
Because,
it's the big debate between entertaining music versus technically talented music or proficient, music.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that it's a bad decision. I love Dragon Force, and I loved the songs Through the Fire and the Flames and Operation Ground and Pound.
Yeah.
But whenever I listened to their album, I just got bored because I was like, it's the same song over and over again.
I see.
I don't care if it's an hour's worth of just wrist exploding speed.
And if someone's listening to this and they love metal, I'm not trying to diss on metal. Mm-mm. If you're a metal fan, this is going to be, a game that you'll love, I'm sure.
You know what? I kind of have something against this game, and maybe they'll fix it in the end, but I couldn't import my original Rock Band character. Maybe they'll update it and have something like that, or maybe I just don't know what the right button to push is to import that stuff.
As far as I can tell, you can't. But you're
Right.
starting a new journey in this one. It's a new world tour and everything.
Yeah.
I put a tattoo of a cat on my forearm.
Nice.
So I'm ready to drum.
Yeah.
So that's Rock Band 2. Hey, Spoon Man is a great song. I'm not dissing.
You know what? Yeah, I kind of just say, like, I do kind of get ticked off when people are just like, well, I don't know that song. It's like, well, part of the fun of these games are, like, finding out new songs.
Right.
I remember when you and I didn't know what Bizarre Love Triangle by New Order was, played Karaoke Revolution, was in there and just fell in love with that song,
Yeah. Geez, Harmonix is basically the only music company that I've trusted from the beginning. When you think about it, it's like Karaoke Revolution, Guitar Hero, up until 2, and now Rock Band, all made by the same company. So I guess those guys are just really talented.
Yep.
But 40 episodes in,
Woo!
We started our first episode with Rock Band. We came full circle now with Rock Band 2. It only took us 40 episodes to get there, but check out the song list, see if it's going to be worth it for you. But if you don't want to spend hard money on it, take in a stack of PS2 games.
Oh, yeah.
So that's it for our main topic of discussion. And before we close out our show this week, we always get a little nostalgic at the end.
What it was like growing up geek.
That's correct. And this week I've been watching a lot of Enterprise on DVD.
Question mark?
Yeah, exactly. Of all the shows I could be watching, the failed Star Trek series, I kind of want to know how that show ended. I gave up on it. I'm part of the reason that it was canceled. But it got me thinking about Star Trek. And, we haven't really talked about this massive section of geek culture.
Wow.
In 2008, Star Trek's kind of in the same place that Star Wars is. The main famous films and shows have kind of run aground. They're over, and now we're just left with the leavings of Gene Roddenberry, the scraps, whatever they can kind of remake or prequel or, video game. It's not the heyday.
Right.
What was your favorite, Star Trek series or, Star Trek memories?
Well, I mean, I don't know. There was just this period, I guess, whenever Star Trek really started to boom, and it was later into the Next Generation.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people will swear by the original series, but honestly, the original series wasn't really the cultural phenomenon.
No.
It was
canceled after 79 episodes.
Yeah. But what happened was it was the movies that suddenly made everybody take notice, and which then prompted the creation of the Next Generation.
Right.
But eventually that got big enough. I think that was about when we started to get in. We saw, this is something that's massive. And
it was like a family in a hotel on the Love Boat in space,
You just made me hate Star Trek.
Oh, sorry.
It's like a family on a hotel, really. This is what...
Maybe that wasn't at all what it felt like, but...
It was a future you wanted to be in. You wanted to be part of it.
Yeah, Enterprise D has a technical manual that is massively detailed. I mean, they could build that ship practically from that manual. So when I saw that there was that level of detail... As a Star Wars fan, I know that Star Wars is not about that. Star Wars, they bang on the hull of their ship and it goes. On Star Trek, it's all figured out. So
yeah, Gene Roddenberry was a pretty creative guy when he was even making the first one. There was a confusion about what the deflector dish was and where the phasers were, and he's like, "No, you don't understand.
Right.
It has to be on the front because as you're moving through warp space." You need to move things out of your way, otherwise hitting them will cause a tear in the fabric of space. Right. He had this all worked out in his head in the 60s.
Yeah, and when he died, his ashes were scattered into outer space, and that's no joke. You can look that up.
One of the first space shuttles was called Enterprise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know that they brought the crew in, which is kind of an odd paradox somehow in the whole timeline, that the actors who played them were there at the launch of that ship, 100 years before their time is supposed to have taken place. But
I have a question for you. I mean, maybe we can talk this over, but
no, go ahead.
My girlfriend has never seen Star Trek Next Generation, or knows of it, but never really got into it. And I kind of want to show it to her, show her the value of it. But she said, pick out one episode that's your favorite that'll show me this show. And I'm just like.
That's like some sort of geek challenge where you have to take your shirt off and burn yourself or something,
Right.
Pass the trials.
What are the favorite episodes for Star Trek fans aren't going to be the best episodes to introduce somebody to the series with. You don't want people who be like, okay, who the heck are the Borg?
Right. Oh, no. Yeah, don't show her the Borg.
Yeah.
Holy crap. To me, it would just be one that's all character driven. I have to say, my favorite one is the one, and this is kind of a boyfriend-girlfriend thing, so maybe she would like it, is the one where Picard and Crusher went to the planet together, and they had a crush, no pun intended, on each other, but they never told each other. And on that planet, there was some sort of a mind meld that happened where they could hear each other's thoughts. It was only a matter of time before they finally knew what each other were thinking and knew that, they had crushes on each other. And then that episode sort of ends with them just reflecting in their quarters, knowing full well that the other person likes them. That to me was sci-fi, at its greatest. And I really just liked that. The hint of things that can never be. I loved it. But anyway, Star Trek.
It really deserves its own whole episode, and we're sorry for Star Trek fans for just kind of giving it lip service at the end of our show.
Yeah, indeed. But boy, I wonder if any Star Trek fans would have a good idea for what if you let's end it like this. If you do know the episode that Rob's girlfriend should watch, please promptly send us an email. Our email address is mail@growing-up-geek.com. And let us know, what should a new Star Trek fan watch? There's so much out there.
An important moment in any geek's life.
Right. So, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. What do you say?
I would say.
You would say what?
I would say it's a good time to wrap it up.
All right, well, let's go ahead and do that then.
Sebastian, say my name.
Okay. So thank you all for listening. Once again, my name is Brad.
Live long and prosper.